This question is kind of along the same lines, but if an existing commercial entity sitting adjacent to a residential neighborhood desires to expand into the residential neighborhood and is facing opposition from residents, what factors are you likely to consider?
I guess number one is what type of commercial entity, and number two, what mechanism they're trying to use to move in. If they're looking for a zoning change, and it's a fairly compatible type of activity, then, and it's overall good for again, the quality of life in the city, I'm not so likely to oppose it. But if it's something that is going to cause damage in an adjacent neighborhood, clearly cause damage because it's not compatible, then I would have a harder time going with that. Assuming the zoning change is what they're asking for. I mean, if they're asking for something that the city taking an active hand in doing this, the commercial entity, that's I consider outside the bounds in almost any case of what the city should be doing. There may be really extreme circumstances where, yes, make something very important happen, this is what you have to do. But that's a really unusual in certain cases, and the whole city would be involved in that discussion. So.
As now defunct businesses with major flood damage have left the South Duff Avenue corridor, new commercial businesses are setting up. The result has been a change in traffic patterns, questions of access for some of the already established businesses, and concerns about where the next round of floodwaters might flow. What do you think about the city's development record on South Duff, and would you like to make any changes?
Yeah, I'm not much in favor of building on floodplains as a general rule. Sometimes you have no choice, but it's not a good choice if you have options. And again, the question becomes who's driving it. If commercial businesses, you've got a pretty good shopping district down there now. And I'm not sure how much of that all location down there is due to all the businesses wanting to be there or the city saying that's the only place you can go. And that's one of the land use plan areas that I have a little problem with, is this concept of all your shopping should be here, all your industrial should be here, and your housing should be here, and you should drive between them every day, and you're going to intersect, and all going to cross over driving at Lincoln Way and Duff. You know, you're going to have a massive crossover of the traffic. That kind of part, I think, is maybe not a good approach. So I think my impression is the city is pushed a little harder than they should, trying to localize commercial in that area. I know a lot of businesses want to be localized. A Kmart, Target wants to be close to a Walmart. I don't understand the marketing sense of why they believe that way. I would certainly prefer to have things distributed a little better so you had communities that you were close to. I like it because I'm within walking distance to a grocery store, a couple restaurants. Used to be walking distance to a hardware store, but now I'm lost without a hardware store in that area. I like to have enough things available in the community rather than all focused in one area. So if the commercial businesses are wanting to do that cluster, I don't know, as part of the city, I wouldn't interfere with that as long as it's not doing major damage to future flood issues. And as far as I can tell from talking with flood people or people involved in water flow, it's not a major contributor. It's a 5% animal, the building in the floodplain, as opposed to the changes in the drainage and tillage upstream causing rapid runoff. That's the main differential that's driving the major floods. So I don't think those are doing major damage. So if they want to do that, the city's not going to shouldn't be standing in their way as long as it's done in a reasonable fashion and built up to protect and you have reasonable access. And that's part of the city's job, is putting the infrastructure in for that access. That's part of the quality of life, making sure you can do that. But I certainly wouldn't object to allowing more of that commercial to disperse in other areas of town so that other neighborhoods have access to them.
The current council has a goal of strengthening neighborhoods. What does that mean to you? Would you like to see the next council of which you hope to be a member keep that goal? What future city council actions do you think could help strengthen neighborhoods?
Yeah, strengthening neighborhoods there's no question. How you do it, I look at it is making sure that you can have a sense of community in the neighborhoods, which more than anything else means not causing problems, not preventing the neighborhoods from being a community, which would be preventing activities within the neighborhood that tend to create bonds within the people in the neighborhood, doing major construction projects that would break up a neighborhood, blocking some commercial activities close by that would serve the neighborhood. Those are things that shouldn't be done by the city, I guess, and I wouldn't be in favor of as a council member. Things that would kind of break up the ability to function as a community. As far as active things that the city council can do, the city does a few things now as far as helping if the community wants to do plantings and whatnot, and that's good and minimal, but there's not a lot of active things that I know of. If somebody brought ideas to me, I'd be really anxious to hear and in favor of. And again, listening to other people talk about things is how you learn, and how the city council needs to learn and react to things is getting input from people and communities on how that might happen. But out of my own basis knowledge, I don't have an answer that says it is, but I'd be happy if somebody did and came to me with it.
Those are all the questions I had. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's a range of things, and Ames is really a nice place. I enjoy living here. Our situation is pretty good in our community and our access to things. Not screwing it up is the number one thing, and then there are areas that can be improved, and that's what my goal would be, is to first the 90% of the decisions that are not screwing it up and making good judgments is what you'd be doing. There's that other part that's okay, we could make this even better. How do you go about doing that, and what do you do, and that would be the other part.